Good afternoon. I'm a vicar, so if you need my help, do call with whatever is on your mind. Whatever problem, however big or small, I'm sure that I, with a little help from, well, you know who, will be able to at least put your mind at rest about whatever it might be that's causing you uncertainty, because life is very uncertain, isn't it? You know, I was riding my bicycle the other day, and I thought to myself, God is in many ways like a bicycle, because with God you have to strike a balance between God and living your life. And on a bicycle you also have to strike something of a balance. And with God you have to keep moving forward, as you have to do on a bicycle, or else you'll fall off. The seat of God is in some ways quite a small seat in our lives, and in many ways it's quite uncomfortable, a little bit like the seat on a bicycle. And God has a number of different gear changes which happen when you need him. He can be at your side very quickly, or if you're living your life at a happy pace, God can be with you in quite a low gear. And so that's why God's a bit like a bicycle, but a mountain bike rather than a racing bicycle. Good afternoon. I'm a vicar, the Reverend Boyd. Call me Tom. If there's anything I can help with, please call now. Perhaps you need advice about heaven, which for many people is the place that we would like to go when we're dead. Of course, there aren't many other places that we would like to go when we're dead. So it's a tremendous deal in many ways if we just change one or two things that we say and think whilst we're here to have the rest of our unnatural lives enjoyed and spent in a perfect place. So if you'd like to go to heaven, and of course remember there are many ways of going to heaven, free call 0500 10 53 89, or if there's some advice that you'd quite like, however deep or shallow, about your family or your career, or perhaps you'd merely like, bearing in mind, particularly if you were listening to Danny Baker's show on this radio station on Saturday, advice from or with or by God about who might win the World Cup, then the number is free call 0500 10 53 89. The millennium is coming up, of course, and for many people this is a time when spirituality is going to be abroad. And many of us, I think, will be asking the question, which of the many religions is for me? Is it Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Shinto, or one of the many, many others? Well, besides having trained and practiced as a member of the Christian Church, I've also spent time working and practicing as a Buddhist priest and a prophet for Taoism and Confucianism, and am currently training under the Quran to become a Muslim. So it may well be that I might be able to identify which of the religions you are most naturally suited to. The number again is free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm the Reverend Boyd. Call me Tom. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening, you know.
Time your call 0500 10 53 89 now. This is Talk Radio.
The vicar is here, and Paul has called from Coventry. Paul, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Good afternoon, Father. I was wondering if you could help me out here. I'm not entirely sure what faith I am. I clearly have got a contact with God, but I'm not quite sure which one he is.
Well, that's very difficult for you, Paul, and yet I'm sure an awful lot of people today find themselves in the same position. Can I ask what faith you were brought up in?
I was brought up a Christian.
I see. Well, let me just go through the little questionnaire which I've prepared here, and we'll see whether we can actually narrow down which faith is the right one for you. Do you believe in God? Yes, no, or maybe?
Yes.
Yes. Are you in fear of God, or do you only love God?
Only love God.
You have no fear of God at all?
I have awe, but not fear.
Awe is nearly fear. Or
Nearly
is,
fear, yes. Respect.
Respect. Do you believe in a day of judgment?
Yes.
You do. Well, Paul, I don't know whether you have given any consideration to the faith that is suggested for you, but I think you could be, although you don't know it, a Muslim.
You know, I think I could be myself. I've read the first 2 chapters of the Quran, and I'm very drawn to it.
Yes.
The only problem is they don't let you drink, do they?
Oh, it's possible to find a division of the Islamic faith which will permit you the occasional snorter, yes.
Oh, good.
But I'm not a bender.
Oh.
No.
Ah, that could be a problem.
Yes, social drinking, perhaps, if you find, the right one.
Ah.
Yes.
I tend to be a bit of an antisocial drinker, though.
Well, as you know, in Islam, God's your man, not Jesus.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, much respect for that, definitely.
Okay.
I'm a little bit tired of all this worship of the Son and not worshipping the Father.
Absolutely. And do you believe in the Prophet Muhammad?
Well, from what I've read of him, I find him very hard not to believe.
Okay, well, you could then be moving towards becoming a Shiite Muslim.
Be careful how you say that.
Yes. And rather than a Sunni Muslim.
Oh, I see.
We're a bit more flexible.
Now, there is another aspect here.
Yes.
I consider myself a psychic. That is, in fact, what I do for a living.
A psychic Muslim?
Yes. Is this a possibility?
Yes.
Within the Christian church, it's frowned upon. Any mention of the word psychic, he's in league with the devil.
Yes.
So, I'd be keen to move away from that attitude.
Well, I think, and one of my fellow presenters on May Day will be able to advise you further on how to use or keep to yourself your psychic powers.
Yes, I'm looking forward to talking to him.
Absolutely, and I'm sure he is looking forward to talking to you.
Yes, we have met.
Understood. And I think it's quite possible that used suitably, psychic powers can be seen as no more or less than a heightened sensitivity towards the needs and feelings of your fellow man.
I wouldn't argue with that.
In which case, the Shiite branch of Islam may well be the one for you, Paul.
Well, thank you very much for your advice.
See you in the pub, though, first.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Free call 0500 1053 89. Sean calls from Buckinghamshire. Sean, you're on Talk Radio.
Reverend Boyd.
Sir.
Love you Bible.
Thank you.
Actually, I don't really love it that much. I'll tell you why. I've been struggling with this concept for a few years now. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to be that the whole message of Christianity is that eternal damnation awaits all those who dare to resist God's infinite love.
Yes.
Now, this seems to be a little bit contradictory here.
Yes.
Can you clear me up on that one, please, Reverend?
Well, as I said, although I am, or have been in the past, a reverend, I've also practiced other religions which take the view that God is perhaps a little less like a former South American dictator and perhaps a little bit more like a figure who engages only in the positive.
That doesn't sound very Christian to me.
Well, no, I think you would see, Sean, that you're moving away from both Christianity and Islam, and indeed the Hindu faith, which might have been an interesting one for you. Let me ask you the question then. Do you believe in God, yes, no, or maybe?
Not a Christian God.
That has to be a maybe then, doesn't it?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Yes.
I believe in an order. I believe in mathematics. That's a kind of Mother Nature stroke chaos kind of God. You know what I mean?
Yes, then I would say that Taoism is the religion for you.
Taoism?
Absolutely, Taoism.
That's one that begins with T, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, but it's pronounced Tao.
Good food?
Good food in Taoism.
Mm.
Good everything in Taoism.
Is there?
Taoists even enjoy a drink of vinegar.
Oh, the vinegar taste.
You've seen the woodcut. You've seen the woodcut, yes.
Yes, that's the one, yeah.
Well, there's no God in Taoism, But there is a sense of there's a providence, a sense of a natural way, both in the universe and how to live your life.
That sounds good.
It's a bit more of a philosophy than a religion.
Okay, well, I also have I'm kind of budding towards Satanism, to be perfectly honest with you. That seems to reflect, mankind and animals' natural desires and prowesses a little bit more, and animal instincts. And
Yes.
there seems to be more of, like, God's fingerprints on us if we look through the eyes of satanic philosophy rather than anything
We
else.
all have a mortido as well as a libido, and both of them have their place. The urge to create and the urge to destroy both have their moments.
The urge to destroy
Yes.
in order to create again once more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's as much a psychological argument as a philosophical one.
Well, I was kind of hoping, though, Tommy, that you would clear up this contradiction for me, since you used to be a reverend,
Yes.
and you haven't really done it.
I've
I was hoping for a last-minute reprise.
I've tried to move you in a direction which will help you, Sean, find the door which is opened by the key which you already have. As Confucius put it.
I suppose the key is very much like Christianity, isn't it? Like in God.
The key is very much like Christianity. A door is very much like God. Everything,
Yeah,
if you're a vicar, is everything. Everything, if you're a vicar, is very much
definitely.
like the Bible.
I was struggling with a very weak metaphor the other day, trying to describe a tired old cliche, and I thought to myself that weak metaphors trying to describe old cliches is very much like Christianity, because
It is.
you have to sort of like take hold of it as your own thing, even though it's been used before, and you have to shape it and learn to love it and caress it, and then come out with a new interpretation of it. So,
Everything is a little bit like our Lord.
what about salt?
Yes, salt. Salt is very much like God. In that even taken in small measures, it can both
Influence.
enhance and our lives, and at the same time is an absolute necessity for life.
Beautifully put.
And not long ago was a currency in life. And
What about Rear Window?
and it kills snails.
And it kills snails.
Yes.
Yes.
And
that's
kills
evidence of God right there, I would say.
Yes. So,
What about Rear Window wipers?
rear window wipers in many ways are like God. I don't know, you do this one.
Well, I suppose you could say that as you're moving along and you're only looking ahead at all the material things that you're trying to get, every now and then, God is the one that clears the way so that you can see clearly what you may have missed behind you as you looked for those more obvious things that the media leads us astray in.
Yes. Very good.
What
Sean,
about hailstones?
hailstones. All right, Sean, thank you for your call. Drive on, drive safely. Our next caller is John in Dover. And John, you've got a couple of moments before we talk to you. And when we talk to you, I'm going to ask you to explain why hailstones are a little bit like God. And then John in Dover will also have something else that he will suggest, so that our following caller will be able to explain why God's a bit like that. Yes. Oh, look, a format. I'm the Reverend Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Talk Radio, the conversation of the nation.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Just ahead of God and how to go to heaven, how are you going to spend your summer holiday? Could be relaxing by a pool, staying in a chateau, or visiting friends abroad. Whatever your plans, we'll help you get the most out of your time away. From Tuesday the 5th of May, Lorraine Kelly's playing Talk Radio's Here Comes Summer with 1, 2, 3 success plus only from Weight Watchers. We'll help you prepare for the summer, whether it's learning Spanish, getting in trim for the beach, or even packing your clothes in a new set of luggage. To enter, send us your name, address and telephone number and tell us your holiday plans. Mark your envelope, Here Comes Summer, Talk Radio, P.O. Box 1089, London 1W1A 1PP, or you can fax us on 0541 59 69 79. John calls from Dover. You're on Talk Radio, John. Good afternoon.
Reverend Boyd,
John.
how are you? I'd love some divine information and inspiration, please, to two perplexing questions that I've got for you.
Okay. I'll try.
First of all, I would like a basic but factual description and definition of the Trinity.
Yes.
And secondly,